Hi Leo, this is Rebecca from Being Human Tarot, and I'm here with your July 2018 forecast. So it's going to be also, if you hear little strange gravelly noises in the background, it's my parrot, so apologies for that. So I'm doing a 5-card spread that will be where you are right now, your task for the month, your challenge or difficulties for the month, your strength, and then ultimately your goal for this month. So to get started, in your first position of where you are this month, you have the 7 of Pentacles. And so the 7 of Pentacles is the guy who has been, I guess he's typically seen as a farmer. He's been harvesting a ton. He's been doing all of the work. He's pretty tired, like he has to take a break there. So it seems as though over the past month or so, or maybe just the past week even, just very recently basically, you've been working very hard and you're tired and you're ready, kind of ready for a break. But the great thing about the 7 of Pentacles is that that's on the cusp. You can have you've already done it, right? It's already there's nothing else in the picture that really needs to be, except for maybe this one tiny one at the bottom. There's no more work that needs to be done. You've got through the vast majority of what needs to be done. And so even though you're weary and could be feeling kind of downtrodden from the whole experience, ultimately you're about to be finished. So you might be starting the month a little bit tired, a little bit burnt out, but this isn't something that's going to be following you forever. So for your task, you have Death. I know that a lot of people are intimidated by death, or think the Death card is bad when it comes up, but I've always personally really loved the Death card. It's a chance for rebirth. It's really if they were going to retitle all of the cards to have just different names that were also meaning the same thing, it would be rebirth, because it's infrequently meaning the death of something that you need. It's often it's something that you need. It's something you need out of your life. So your task this month is whatever isn't serving you in your life. If it's a friendship, maybe there's a toxic person in your life who you have to finally kind of own up to. Maybe they're just not worthy of you. Or if it's a job that's not treating you well, and maybe you have to take a stand, or maybe you've taken many stands, and it's just kind of you're at the point now that it's time for it to be over. So, and there are a million examples of things like that it could be, which I realize is very generic, but because these are such broad readings for an entire sign, it is going to be generic. So I think you'll know based on what it is in your life that's that you're ready to let go of, that it's really time. This month is the time to do that. And it's fine to mourn it. It's fine to, because even things that we need to purge from our lives, sometimes those things meant a lot for us. It's not like everything we need to let go of has always been the worst thing ever. Sometimes we just, in the friend example, that could be a person, you're probably hanging on to this person for a reason, right? But it's very powerful and it's very necessary to let go of things that aren't giving us back what we're giving them. So I would say that's your message for your task for the month. Your difficulties for the month, you have the 2 of Pentacles. Also, I'm always holding these cards kind of in the wrong position. So I think that I've mastered it in terms of where the camera is. So I hope this is showing the whole card for you. And so it's another Pentacles, right? Like you started where you are with the Seven of Pentacles, being kind of burnt out from work. In whatever way that work shows up. That doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, an actual like job that you're going in and clocking in at. Sorry, I keep holding up this while I'm talking about the Seven of Pentacles, but like this could be any kind of work that you have. If this could be taking care of kids at home and being kind of exhausted by the current stage that you're in with your children, or it could be caring for a sick family member, which takes a lot out of someone, and you're just feeling kind of maxed out in the current stage of it. But to go back to your difficulties this month in the Two of Pentacles, it's a juggling act, and it's also the Pentacle suit, so you're really kind of struggling in that work-life balance this month. But if you notice, it's also not kind of like, he seems to be doing it okay. He's in sort of a gesture like get up. So it's not this incredibly serious kind of balance. Like, yes, there's the need for some balance. There's something going on that is a lot to handle. And so your challenge is to kind of prioritize and get a better hold. So you're not, because I mean, this almost could be, he's juggling, right? He's sort of like a jester-like guy, and he's juggling these two pentacles, but no one can juggle forever, right? Juggling is like, you would get tired. So as your challenge or difficulty or struggle for the month, it's to kind of get a hold on what's been going on perhaps in your work life, because again, it is a pentacle, or in another element of your life that you feel needs grounding. And your strength this month is a court card. You have the King of Cups. And so the King of Cups is kind of like the second, sorry, did I say the King of Cups twice? Obviously the Knight of Cups, I've had the King of Cups on my mind a lot recently, so sorry about that. But the Knight of Cups is sort of the second slowest knight, right? Because we have the Knight of Pentacles, who's just at a complete standstill, and then the Knight of Wands is sort of like starting to like go forth, and it has more action. And then the Knight of Swords is legit, like, he looks insane. He has kind of a crazed expression on his face, and he's like, go forth. But anyway, like, not to give an entire rundown on all of the knights, but the Knight of Cups is a good, steady one. He's not as stagnant, if you want to say, as the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knight of Pentacles isn't even moving. Like, the Knight of Cups has a hoof lifted, right? He's taking off and he's moving, albeit it's at a pretty slow pace, because another thing to consider is he's holding a cup. And there's only so fast you can ride a horse holding a cup without spilling water, right? So it's at this pace of, it's a gentle pace, but it's not a hurried pace. It's not being sort of over the top and rushed and maybe a little bit foolhardy. It's still careful. And it's careful without being so careful that it's maybe almost an impediment to getting somewhere because you're going so slow. So it's a good pace. And with its position and your strengths for this month, I really see it as you being able to kind of address the things that are going on, right? Like the burnout you're feeling, whatever it is that you need to purge from your life, as well as the kind of the juggling and balancing act that you're handling right now. So I think as your strength, it's kind of saying that you can handle all of this. You're approaching it at a pace that is appropriate. It's not, there's a word that keeps escaping me that I want to say that I keep forgetting, but you're doing it maturely, for lack of the word that I want to say. You're addressing these things and making progress in a mature way. And you're also, because this is a cup sign, you're doing it with great emotional maturity. It's so easy, particularly in stressful situations when we feel overburdened, to just freak the fuck out and maybe have more of a fire energy. So if you were, the Knight of Wands, maybe raring to go. But here you're being thoughtful and you're respecting yourself as well as other people's emotions, and just proceeding like with caution and proceeding lovingly. For your goal of the month, you have an interesting goal. You have the Devil for your goal, which, as I picked the Devil for another reading, I forget which position, but as I said in that reading, the imagery of the Devil in tarot is a bit hyperbolic for me. I feel like it's scary. I mean, like, it's a demon with some enslaved people. He's got horns growing out of his head. They've got tails of fire. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a little alarmist. Even the Death card, which scares people a lot, sort of less intimidating than the Devil card. But so, with the Devil as your goal for the month, I think it's not as bad as it seems. It's not, because the position is goal, it's not, I mean, like, obviously your goal isn't to, take on the traits of the Devil. Like, it's not going to be anyone's goal. Rather, it's to avoid falling into devil-like temptations. And those can be so far and wide. Those can be so many different things. The Devil can be, it's just things taken in excess that aren't necessarily bad in and of themselves, but when taken to a certain point, become toxic for you. So the Devil can be sex in a way that is not the way that sex is typically nourishing for you. The Devil can be, toxic relationships, even, sex aside, just relationships with people, whether they're romantic or not. The Devil can be work situations that are toxic. Not that this card, I actually don't think that this card means toxic work. It means a lot of work. It means burnt out at work. But there's just so many different ways that, and also a huge one for the Devil is a negative self-talk. So these people are kind of enslaved, right? And that's one of the number one ways that we can do that to ourselves, is by telling ourselves we're not good enough, putting ourselves down, using statements when we're thinking about ourselves like you never or you always, because it's just not true. No one is ever one way. Like, never. I just said, which I guess is kind of an oxymoron, but you get what I mean, though. It's So it's really, the goal is, I think, to not let some of these stressful experiences that you're having this month, particularly at work, particularly in whatever it is in your life that you're needing to end, because I imagine that's rather exhausting too, and whatever it is you're having to juggle so much, which very well could be work or something else, don't let those things get the best of you. And so your goal is to avoid the devil. The goal is to avoid devil-like thoughts. And you have the Knight of Cups on your side to help you as you like progress along that journey. Oh God, I use journey again. I don't really like the word journey, even though it's very applicable just practically when you're talking about tarot, but it's overused and I try to avoid it because I personally don't like it. No shade on people who use journey though. Anyway, so yeah, so I think you have, with that Nine of Cups presence, like you have what it takes. None of these other things that you're experiencing this month are so big that you can't overcome them. But it is important to avoid slipping into a devil frame of mind. So your goal is to not go here, and you can totally do it. So that is your that's your reading for the month, Leo, and I will pause this in a second so that I can actually show you what the full spread looks like, since I've just been holding up the cards and that's not super useful. It's useful, but it's not, sometimes it's helpful to actually see what the spread looks like together. So I'll do that. If you enjoyed the video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up, like it, and subscribe to the channel if you like the channel. If you hit the bell icon next to subscribe, you'll be automatically notified each month when we upload the new videos, and we're going to upload them for all the signs at the same time, so you'll know that your sign is there, and we're doing it before the 1st of every month so that you'll have plenty of time to check out your video and get a feel of what's to come for that month. Okay, bye Leo. There you see, Leo. That's the full spread. Thanks for tuning in. See you next month.